The tight end position is one we typically want to assign some level of certainty to, whether it's overall target share, where you're at when it comes to red zone presence as well. And all those things we want to not have to worry about when we come to our tight ends. But after digging into the numbers a bit more, I don't have as much uncertainty when it comes to Pat Freiermuth. Alex Caruso already laid out the case for Deontay Johnson in his top 5 case. I don't know if that's in the cards for Pat Freiermuth, but I at least have an upside case for him here in 2022 in this week's episode of By the Numbers. So let's take a look at Freiermuth in his rookie season. Before we get into that though, think about all the tight ends that we saw just had highlight after highlight, or just a number of high-scoring weeks, and the red zone targets they were able to accumulate like over the 2021 season. Who are the top 3, do you think? Of course, Travis Kelce's probably up there. Mark Andrews, of course. A couple other guys that probably come to mind. Hunter Henry, also. Pat Freiermuth, too. Freiermuth was tied for second, up there with even Tyler Higbee, surprisingly enough, as well. I'll probably have a video on him in the coming weeks. But Zach Ertz, he even had more than Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. This was the same guy in Pat Freiermuth who didn't see a greater than 50% snap share until week 6 through 15. He was inactive for week 16, back for week 17 and 18, but that was really when he started to become a larger part of the Steelers offense. And so that's good to see a rookie, second round draft capital, I understand, but good to see a rookie up there with the rest of the tight ends. Good to see a rookie in his first season being placed into that type of situation and earning those targets. Second on the team in red zone targets. So was he also efficient? That would be my second question, or my next question, because y'all know I like to try and dig past just the stats that you can find in the box scores, or just going through Pro Football Reference. And absolutely, if we look at his EPA per target once you get into the red zone, Pat Freiermuth was 6th amongst all tight ends in terms of efficiency, in the red zone. So not only was he earning the volume, he was also able to be efficient, with that same volume. And let's think about that too. This was the same offense that was Ben Roethlisberger in his final season, 605 pass attempts. That was top 6 in the league, if memory serves. They were also top 10 in plays per game, and also, ninth in pace, or top 10 in pace as well, plays per game. All of those things. But let's also think about Ben Roethlisberger and the quality of some of those targets. While the volume might be changing, let's think about the quality of those targets. And Ben Roethlisberger, 30th in average depth of target, while being first in time to throw. So if Freiermuth was getting any targets, they were going to be those short, quick read targets that didn't really allow him to access any sort of athleticism or any sort of, yards or efficiency, past what he could get at the catch point. And so that's why if you look at just his overall efficiency stats, if you were to look at his yards per route run, Pro Football Focus is one of their main efficiency stats. Pat Freiermuth, back end in terms of yards per route run. But again, contextualizing how he was utilized on the field, I guess that kind of makes sense. You wouldn't expect him to be able to churn out a number of additional yards after the catch, or this more with the routes that he was given, if most of them are going to be shorter A-dot throws. From an average depth of target standpoint, Pat Freiermuth, 27th amongst all tight ends, who had more than 50 or more than 40 targets last season in terms of average depth of target. So he wasn't getting deep targets. So I can understand why he was down where he was. And so that makes sense as to where he was at. But also, if you take a look at his target utilization, but still creeping up in terms of where he was at, targets per route run. You've seen me use this stat a number of times on this show, all the way up there at least, 16th, 17th in terms of targets per route run, which at least from an opportunity standpoint, or let's say an intent standpoint, for the routes that he was running, for how often he was on the field, getting targeted at nearly a 20% rate, which not great. But again, this is for throughout the entire season. If you adjust for just the games that he was active. So like I said, that week 6 through 15 window where he was a larger part of the offense, and also looking at weeks 17 and 18, he shifts up into the top 10 in terms of targets per route run, just over 20 to 21% in terms of targets per route run. So all positive things for Pat Freiermuth. We know that the volume should be there, the way that the Pittsburgh Steelers have positioned themselves for the 2022 season, unless you're expecting guys like George Pickens to come in or Calvin Austin to come in and completely remove Freiermuth from the equation, I don't see that being the case. So both his role in the red zone, his overall target share as well, while it was around a 15% target share in his rookie season, all of those things, at least to me, in the way that the Steelers have positioned their offense for this season, at the very least, he should be getting a similar number of targets, similar target share, but also with the change at quarterback should allow for at least more downfield targets as well. So if the efficiency sticks, the red zone volume sticks, the upside case for Pat Freiermuth in this season kind of speaks for itself overall. But let's look at the applicability. I mean, let's look into how we can actually apply some of this knowledge. Right now, if you go over to Underdog right now, ADP is around tight end 12. I've seen him go as late as tight end 13, tight end 14. More than happy to take him there at his current ADP. And for the folks that are getting into some of the best ball strategy, if you are angling for Lamar Jackson, I mean, the Week 17 matchup for Baltimore is Pittsburgh, and with Pat Freiermuth's later ADP, that gives you an easy way to wind up stacking that Week 17 matchup if you're trying to win that $2 million that's going to the Best Ball Millionaire 3 winner for this year. So, I mean, if you're in my draft, don't take him. I'll be angling for Pat Freiermuth this season, but all the other videos here at Football Guys. I mean, like, subscribe, drop a comment, let us know what you're thinking. I mean, hit us up on Twitter and let us know what players that you would want to see us take a look at and give you some more in-depth information. But for now, I'll catch y'all on the lobbies. Don't take my guys. I'll be gunning for them, but I'll catch y'all later. Stay safe. Peace.